number of developing fronts have been happening in the world of business and economics, and it is our duty here as Business Glide Show to unpack some of them for you, and timely so. My name is Richard Mwenja. Welcome to this show, the number one show on matters public policy in Kenya, hosted by yours truly, of course, Richard. And with me, as always, is renowned public scholar in Eastern and Central Africa and Kenya's most sought after political analyst. The first of his name, Herman Manyora. Great to see you, sir.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. How about you?
Wonderful.
Today you are donning an African piece.
Yes, yes.
And so am I.
As Ndini Nyoro would say, we are Africans and Africa is our business.
Is our business.
Yes.
In other words, you're just trying to say you're using local textiles and improving the local
yes,
manufacturing industry.
Yes.
No more Gikomba trading.
You mitumba bana.
Nyamakima traders will hear you and they'll come after you. Gikomba traders.
They know I love this country more than them, and I only do what is good. Mitumbas will never build anybody's economy. You need to build your own economy. Those Mitumba traders also have children who want jobs. How will they get jobs if there are no jobs?
And they've studied...
For every one Mitumba consignment you bring, you kill one job. That job you are killing ni ile ya msichana wako angepata. So they are also not fools.
I see.
Yeah, they are also parents.
Very well.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to today's conversation, and let's start from the point of cost of living, and particularly so, precisely so in there, the issue to do with energy cost in this country. Very recently, as recent as barely 2 days ago, the President William Ruto came forth and authoritatively stated that his government is committed to bring down the cost of gas from 2,800 Kenya shillings, that's a 6 kg cylinder, to now 300 shillings, of course a subsidy of over 2,250 shillings. That is over 200% decrease in the price of that particular cylinder. And he has given a timeline, which he is synonymous for. In under 6 months, it will be done. From where you sit, let's start there. Do you think he is punching above his weight, and particularly this could be an overambitious task? Because even within the last administration, we've been talking about bringing down the cost of energy. Now we are talking about gas from 28 to 300.
I think if it is not on the 13 kg cylinder. I think it's on the 600, which is more or less the same.
Yeah, sure.
Which is from 1,200 to 300.
Yeah, true.
It is still huge. And one wonders, because you said you don't want subsidies. So how are you going to bring that one down? And why are you putting subsidies on the wrong thing? What are your intentions? It's not convincing.
They are talking of strategic partnerships.
Abuju. Yes.
And piki.
Watu wanataka subsidy kwa unga.
Ndio wapate kitu ya kupika nayo gas.
Sio gas. People who use gas more or less can afford, even with these hard times. People want subsidy on maize flour, on unga, not on gas. Let gas come later, not now.
This is still in part of government.
Then the government is not sincere. Nobody can see what they are not sincere.
Then what do you make of the timeline that the president is synonymous for, the 6 months tagline?
And then
you think this will work against him?
And you see, you don't keep saying I'll do things next year, 6 months, 3. No, just do. There is so much you can do to bring down the cost of energy in this country. I don't know whether is it because successive governments and administrators and leaders are daft, or is it because they are part of the cartels inside there, or is it because somebody is putting a foot on their neck, the IMF and World Bank? If the president wakes up at 9, by midnight the cost of electricity will have gone down by 50%.
All those who thought it's April and all those.
If the president wants the cost of diesel to come down to 130, he will just do it in an hour. Come on, forget about that.
In 6 months' time.
These are just jokes.
We wait to see.
And they are dangerous jokes.
How so?
Because you look at, I have said this so repeated, look at what goes into the price of petrol. Traditionally, over the years, for every 1 shilling you pay, if petrol is 100 shillings, government taxes have been around 50 shillings.
What?
Yes. If government just says, we don't want anything from the sale of petrol, it will go down by about 50%. Roughly. You know, I've not checked in the last 2-3 years, but it has always about, the levies have been 48, 50, 52%, around there. You know, that's not my domain. But as a person who knows what's going on, I have a rough idea. So, and some of those things on your electricity bill, if you see, fuel cost adjustment, inflation,
Railway development levy, and all that.
Some of them, even if you took class 3 children in a primary school, grade 3, they'll tell you, surely, President, why can't you remove this one here? Look at the cost of VAT. The havoc VAT is raising to people, ordinary human beings. It is the most immoral tax, VAT. Because anybody who has been to a tax class or read anything about taxation, they will tell you a tax must discriminate.
VAT has been fronted as the silver bullet.
No, VAT is the most immoral tax. You tax a village the same way you tax somebody who says in Runda.
Or Karen.
Or Karen. For everybody, how? In the history of taxation, taxes have never been like that. You tax each according to their ability. That's what a tax is supposed to do.
Nothing to do with the...
But now you have a tax that doesn't discriminate. Whether you are a pensioner, whether you are dead, whether you are a kid, whether you are a billionaire, whether you are somebody who has never seen 1,000 shillings in the last 3 years, you pay VAT the same rate as somebody who spends 60,000 shillings per month on a dog.
The taxman is doing that under the guise of fairness and taxation.
No, where is the fairness in making everybody pay the same tax? That is not just stupidity, it's immorality, it's immoral, it's criminal.
Very well. Still talking.
So if I was the president, the first thing I'll do, I'll get rid of VAT. Ask my people, let's look at another tax. This one is no, this is immoral. But I'm also not a fool. I've looked at how much money you raise from VAT. It's not that you get that much money that you can't do without. No.
Can go to the digital.
I took time to look at the debate that was raging when government was levying VAT on petrol, on fuel. And I knew it was IMF. They finally agreed on 8%. How much? You are an economist. Go and check, Google yourself and find out how much do they raise from that.
Interesting.
So some of the taxes or levies harass the common man without bringing in so much money. If you look at the money the government is giving MPs, 44 billion, to throw their weight around in the name of CDF, which is unconstitutional and declared so by the Supreme Court, that 40 or so billion, there are some of these levies on these things which cannot raise that 44 billion. They will just raise 16 billion, 20 billion, 10 billion, and yet they are a nightmare to a common person.
Very amusing.
If you look at how much money we spend to finance theft and corruption, my friend. If you look at how much corruption there is in the energy sector, some of them are so obvious. You can allow them to steal because they are used to stealing. They will die if they don't steal. But there are certain things that are so obvious. Certain theft, surely.
Tokens and all that.
You know how much independent power producers are given vis-a-vis how much you sell the energy at.
You have a task force that looked into that.
Which task force? You don't need a task force. This is common sense. We know how much we spend buying a unit
in Ethiopia
of power from the independent power producers, from Kenya, from Uganda. We know. We are at an average of about 20 there. I know I don't know, around 20 or something, 18 cents. And it should be 4 cents, 5 at most. Look at how cheap electricity will be. If the average cost of buying electricity before you give it to Kenya Power to supply, at which Kenya Power buys, was 5 to 6 cents, which is where it should be. Government need not subsidize. By simply taking care of these so-called independent power suppliers, and looking at some of the contracts we entered into, and it is missing some of the contracts, even if it means it is going to be at a cost.
Come on. All right.
We at Nairobi Review appreciate the support you have given Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Through your financial support, we've been able to reach millions of Kenyans and produce quality content every single day. It hasn't been easy, and therefore we appreciate you for subscribing, sharing, and watching us every single day. Whether you're a long-term fan or just discovering this YouTube channel, your financial support can make a huge difference. You can M-Pesa us via 0768 074 076 or use till number 964 4543. That is 0768 074 076 or M-Pesa till number 964 4543. We highly appreciate your support.
In a bid to step up financial inclusion among women in this country, especially women in enterprise, we have seen the president, of course, launch an increased allocation of fund to the Women Enterprise Fund barely a few days ago. And from where you sit, are you probably thinking from the same school of thought as I, that indeed the president has got it right when it now comes to uplifting women and small business entrepreneurs among the women's circle? You've seen increased billions to the Women Enterprise Fund. This is coming at a time when women were decrying, we do not have enough resources to help us with table banking and all those grassroots financial avenues.
No. Have women told you there has been lack of money? Have they told you what was there was not enough? That's not what they will tell you.
There's never been enough.
No, that's not the problem.
What is it then?
No, the problem is not that. I have said this when people were talking about Hustler Fund during the campaign. I said this country has had funds from independence. After independence in the 60s, there were free monies flowing in.
The grassroots level?
Yes, flowing from European Commission, from where were you? In the 70s, money was flowing in. Women groups, kufanya ng'ombe ya dairy,
microfinance and all that.
Then Moi came in from 1985. District focus for rural development, where money was now devolved. Then Kibaki came after that, under the Don CDF, what have you? Monies have been devolved. Monies have gone down. Kenya's cooperative movement has been one of the greatest in the world. But these things have not transformed into any.
But don't you think it's probably
development?
At the time there wasn't sufficient probably women in
No,
leadership?
it's not women, it is not money. There is something that is not right, which you must get right. Not giving money. Even if you give money, it will still go the same way it has gone. Even NORAD and the rest of these people, they provide money, agriculture, groups, what? The money that is going to my place will still go in the same way it went. And those projects, none of them will succeed. None of them have succeeded.
Come on.
Yes.
But right now
They can't. This NGO world, all the support from groups, donors, why haven't they translated into anything? They can't. You have to look at where the problem is. Before you give women enterprise fund and hustle and the youth group and the youth fund and the Wezo fund, Biashara fund, find out why it's not working. I have always challenged KRA to invite me for a 2-hour session. You have heard me say that. And I will show them how to raise 3 shillings for every shilling they are raising now without harassing people. That approach is a similar approach you need to use to grow small businesses and to help women and vulnerables and youth to utilize whatever funds government will give. It is more of the how than the what, the money.
Very well.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
If KRA sees me here and they have an idea, get some little money from YouTube, they are soon going to descend on me. They want me to pay them taxes. Instead of finding things of this nature are what young men are doing across the world. How do we grow the young men? How do we help them to know the meaning of, for example, small businesses? How do they know how to do a modern business? The meaning of keeping books. Simple book, the bookkeeper on your small laptop. On even iPads, we can even supply small computers, what have you, to train people to train, employ many people to train them how to run a small business. And ultimately, at the very end of it, that you must pay your taxes. Because you have seen all this training you have gone through, all the support you have been given is money from the treasury. You also put some more money in that treasury so that another person can benefit the way you benefited. And you can see you only had 10,000. Can you believe it is you now today who has 500,000? If you had not been shown the beauty of running an organized formal business or banking, would you be where you are? No. Now you pay your taxes. So similarly, supporting small businesses is not giving them money. Supporting women is not enhancing the women fund. You can even put there 1 trillion shillings, it will make no difference.
There's more to be done than just allocation.
There is the how. Why have these things never worked from the 60s? That's the question you ask. But adding more money to youth fund, women fund, ways of one, biashara is a waste of time. Finally, even when there are such a funds, only a few people know how to get that money.
There's information asymmetry even when it comes to this.
And then the rest goes into corruption. Then the project collapses. Take Fuliza, for example. Because government will not want to be embarrassed that it has failed. They started with about 30 billion, I think.
Yeah.
Although they are talked of 50 billion, now it's 30. They will add 10, they will add 20. They will add by the time Ruto leaves office.
200.
It will just be adding. There will be nothing to show for it. And not one person will say, I have moved from level 1 of poverty. I'm at least 3 steps above poverty. Poverty nimewacha nyuma steps 3.
The happiness index of
yes, it's nothing. The same thing. So this country must grow up in terms of thinking. Yes.
Very insightful. There you have it from Herman Manyora, of course, East Africa's most renowned public scholar, dropping out nuggets of wisdom on matters financial inclusion among the women in this country, especially those in enterprises. We've also talked matters to do with bringing the cost of energy down, more particularly on matters to do with the gas prices in this country. Of course, the president has committed to bring down the price of the 6 kg gas cylinder to 300 in just under 6 months. We wait to see. Of course, he has made many commitments in the past, but this one, most particularly, will literally be judged more harshly if he won't live up to the promise. Time for Fun of the Week, and it is this amazing lady from Qatar. Right now in Qatar, that is Milka Njeri.
Milka Njeri from Qatar.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of us. Greet more Kenyans there.
Yeah.
Tell them to join us as we talk about our country.
As they also send us those diaspora remittances.
And they also support us. By the way, we're asking people to support us.
True.
Running this thing is not easy.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody can descend on you thinking you have money.
100.
When even running this small thing is so difficult.
Yeah.
And I keep asking our friends to, our supporters, please support us with little money that you can afford.
Yes.
And at the same time, we thank those who do so.
Yeah.
Because we need every support we can get to
run our productions.
Yes, yes.
And more particularly those in diaspora have always held our hand from day one. We continue thanking you so much. And it goes beyond just monetary assistance. You can bring us some partnerships in terms of event coverage if you want us to cover your burial, wedding, corporate events and all that. Even if you want moderation services, you can always consult us here. Also, if you're a fashion designer, why don't you come on board? Dress Herman Manyora, dress myself and a host of other presenters here in
and advertise with us.
Yes, and advertise with us.
We have a reach, our YouTube, we have a reach of now 1.4 million people.
Yeah.
Direct. Indirectly, we have a reach to over 4 million people.
Direct engagement.
Yes.
All right, so join the bandwagon and have Nairobi Review make your business known out there and also give you the much needed publicity that will serve you beyond just the next few years. Until next time on Business Glide, my name is Richard Mwanja. Now it's time for the Business Glide African Proverb of the Day, coming up next on your screen.